Ba'ayin b'zoyhar vayikra. Daf Yud Gimel Amud Aleph. Shal Esek HaTorah Nemar. So what it says over there in the Zoyar, in the portion of Vayikra, that with regards to Torah, that we were discussing, that how is a Yid Mamshich through Esek Torah Bishmo Lishmo, he's Mamshich the Moichin to Zoh. So in the Zoyar he says that with regards to the study of Torah, occupation of Torah, it says, Su'u Yidechem Kodesh, Uvorchu es Havayim. Raise your hand to the level of Kodesh, and then you will Borchu es Havayim. You will bless Hashem, mainly that you will be Mamshich Havayim, you will be Mamshich to HaKodesh Baruch Hu from Kodesh. This is the Lashon of the Zohar. You shall bless, be mamshich to Kudsha B'richu. V'hainu k'niskar li'il. This is as mentioned before. Shemamshichim lezo hanikra Kodesh Baruch Hu. That you bring down to Zoh, which is called HaKodesh Baruch Hu, Mivchinas oir Abba, from the level of the light of Abba, Chochma, Shubchinas Kodesh Elyon, which is the level of Kodesh Elyon. So Suyidechem Kodesh, you raise it to Abba, to Chochma, Uvarches Hashem, and then you bring it down to Zoh. V'ayim hashikosim is abedibra maschut tzedoreno, v'gambi inyan kikil deis. When we say kil deis, hinehat toiro yamshochas das Elyon. That is considered the bringing down the Das Elyon. Ukenoida shatoira nikras toiras emes, because it brings down from the higher level, from the Das. That's the Keldeis. That's the true Das. That's the toiras emes. So that's the Amshocha Meichin the Abo Shemamshichim Bezoh de Esek HaTorah. So it finishes up the middle of the sentence. He put in the brackets. So they're considered the level of the Shem Elikim. The midos are considered Ayinu Kilo Legabe Atza Meichin. So through the Torah, we mamshich the much higher level, which in of itself, it's not on a much lower level. The midos are on a much level. The midas lan hogava and almin is a much lower level. But through Torah, we're mamshich from the level of chokhmah into the midas. That is one idea that we quoted before. So what does it mean? It means lishmo means to be mamshich moichin to zo. So you're learning Torah lishmo to be mamshich to zo. V'oid pirush lishmo l'shem havaya elikim. For the sake of Havaya Elikim, which means the Hamshich Ha'ore Hayoytze Mi Yisoid the Abba Lahamtik Din Eleyo. We have, for the sake, you have the level of Leah and you have the level of Rachel. The level of Leah is considered the level of Machshava versus Rachel Dibur. There's both a yichud. There's a yichud with Rachel, and there's a yichud with Leah. Leah has dinim. That's the din Leah. You bring down. He's going to explain now. You bring down ha'oreh from Yisoid Abba, from Chochmah, to sweeten the judgments of Leah. It brings down Kamishikosu. B'Pritz Chaim Shari Zayin Reish Shar Hanhogas Halimud. In the beginning over there, in the gate called Hanhogas Halimud, he says, so you learn Torah to be mamshich, to sweeten the din alei. He's going to explain. How do you do that? It's not just learning. V'hainu ayidei halimud bi'iyun b'ha'amoka. When you study intensely and deeply, that's how to sweeten the din alei. Leah hi b'chinas oisius hamachshava. Leah is the oisius machshava versus Rachel, which is oisius hadibur. But Leah is level of oisius hamachshava, which is malchus de tvuna. That's the level of malchus of tvuna, basically of bina, the lower level. The layer of tvuna, which is tachtis hamadrega de tvuna. This is the lowest level of tvuna. These galusa bechinas oisius amagalim kol davar, and the revelation how tvuna God's revealed through the level of letters which reveal everything. Everything that is revealed comes through the level of oisius. That's why this is the level of malchus, of tevuna. This is the lowest level. That's the revelation part that reveals the tevuna. That is why we call it dinim ugvuris, the level of oisius, of leia machshava. We call them machmas shehem magbilim haseichel, the bilti yispashet b'ligvul, because these letters, they limit the seichel so it doesn't expand without a limit. And they come down through the oisius, they limit that level. One thing, in addition, v'gam heim levadom ein bahem shum seichel. They alone have they're just letters. There is no intellect in them. The oisius themselves are not seichel. V'haraya, the proof to this, that there is no seichel, that words themselves are not, letters are not seichel. Sheyuchal lachshev oisius mibli sheyedeya haseichel shubahem. A person is able to think letters without knowing the idea that's in them. You can repeat the words, you can think about the words, you're thinking about the words, but you don't really understand anything from it. V'hinei yadua, it's known, shemoichin shebe'olam hatachten u'b'chinas oisius legabe olam ha'elyon, that the lower level, their level, what's considered moichin, in the lower level, is like the level of oisius if you measure it relative to the higher world. In other words, there's very little seichel the way, from the perspective of the upper world, the lower world's intelligence is like oisius. It's not really seichel. So when you learn Torah, even though he understands. So relative to the level, you can learn Torah understanding and you can learn Torah deeply. So when you learn Torah, even if you understand it, but it's not intensely looking into it, then we call it also like the level of oisius, because relative to intense learning, that's considered just like letters. So there's not such a relation. So what do we have? So you have the level of dinim, of limitation, of the level of oisius, which limit and restrict the idea so that it comes down in a limited way. And the letters itself don't have any intellect. So how do you, and that's called the level of Leah. In order to sweeten the judgments of Leah, which is the Oisius, which means Lahavi Moichi B'toich Oisius, to bring intelligence into the letter, Sorich Laham Hamshich Ha'ore Misoid Abba. So there we need to bring down a shine from Chochmah, from the element of Abba. Ha'inyan. And the idea is you want to bring down into the level of Oisius, the level of Chochmah, because the Oisius themselves are have no seichel in them. So how do you bring it down? It's through the level of Iyun. Ha'inyan Yadua, it's known, Shemoyach Ha'iyun, Umoyach HaZikorin, that the brain of intensity learning and the brain of remembrance, those parts of the brain that you dwell deeply and that you remember, Hu B'chinas Chochmah Shalamaylo Ma'abina. That is the Chochmah which is higher than the Bina. Benikra, and it's called maskil. That's the one, the ability that it grasps, gets the ideas. He's a maskil. Called a maskil. From there, from maskil, from there comes the seichel. The idea comes, the power to come up with a new idea. That's the maskil, the new ideas. So how do you get a new idea, a maskila, to come to a new idea? You have to learn intensely until it will extend a seichel, an idea, from the level of the chokhmah. That in the beginning it was hidden and blocked and obscure. You didn't have it. You want to bring down that idea. You bring it down. They become the intellect for the letters. And the words of Leah become sweet. Basically, what it seems like, what it means is, if you're learning something, but you don't understand so much what you're learning, you understand a little bit, but that's called Leah, that's called Gevures, because it's restricted. You're not really fully comprehending that which you are learning. When you work hard and then you get from the higher level of Chokhmah into that level of your learning, now it sweetens. Now it's not the limit. It's no longer just Oisius, but you have the Chokhmah v'nimtechu dinei Leah, the sweet, and the judgment of Leah are sweetened. And that accomplished so that in all the worlds you bring about the level of Meichin to the letters. As we said, the lower world is always considered Oisius relative to the higher world. So you bring down Meichin to the Oisius. And therefore, Iker Hamshoche Tzorich Lias Mibchinas Chokma Yisod Abba. That's why, because we want to bring down the level of the Ein Sof, and we want to sweeten the laws of the judgments of Leah. So you always mainly have to get from the level of Chokhmah Yisod Abba, which is the element of Chokhmah. Why? Because Ki B'Chokhmah Shoyre Ein Sof, because in Chokhmah the rest Ein Sof. And therefore, you're going to bring down, if you bring down Chochmah, you bring down the Ein Sof. Al derech ma shekosu de v'atzilus iyu v'gamo yichad. That over there, Hashem and the Kalim is one, meaning to say that the Ein Sof unites with the Kalim of Atzilus. So therefore, in Chochmah, there is Ein Sof. And therefore, being Mamshich, that level of Chochmah brings down the Ein Sof. Mashe Enkein, B'biyah, hu alidei Mosach Mavdil. When we talk about the way it comes down into Bria Yitzira Asiya, over there, it's not directly, it doesn't fuse, it doesn't become one. Over there, that's through a curtain that separates, so it's not the same. The Hainu al Yidei Hislapshus Gomur Derech Habina da Atzilus. The way it comes down in Biyah is through a full dressing up. The Chochmah dresses up completely by ways of Bina of Atzilus, and then it comes to the Biyah. But in Chochmah itself, it is directly, there's no cover. It goes directly, the Ein Sof unites Iyu v'Gamo Yichad with the Sfiras HaChochmah. Ba'av she'ba'atzilus meir gam kein al yidei HaChochmah. But in Atzilus itself, it also comes through Chochmah. It doesn't come directly. The Ein Sof is not shine in Atzilus without Chochmah. It comes through Chochmah. Like we say, Kulam b'Chochmah Sisa. Everything is done with Chochmah. But yet, Mikol Mokoim, Chochmah de Adam Kadmen HaMelubeshes b'Chochmah de Atzilus, Ayin Eitz Chaim Shan Mem Zayim Peri Gimel Einoi Nikra Mosach Klal. The Chochmah of Atzilus is not considered to be a curtain, a cover that blocks the Adam Kadmen, that blocks the Chochmah of the Adam Kadmen. She'einoi Mastiru Mailim Oirein Sof Baruch Hu. That Chochmah does not cover and block, does not obscure the Ein Sof Baruch Hu. Why? Mipnei shehu b'chinas ayin, because it's a level of ayin, as we say, v'achokma me'ayin temotze, which is from where me'ayin. It's a level of ayin and koyachma. So therefore, that's the level of chokhmah. So when it comes in Atzilus, even though it comes through chokhmah, chokhmah is not considered to be a block, a muscle that covers, but rather it is bittul. V'lochein nitzutz alakis shebechol echad ve'echad miYisrael. And therefore, the godly spark that is in every yid. We're saying now that Chokhmah becomes the vehicle in which the Ein Sof dresses up. So therefore, also the godly spark that every yid possesses, hu melubesh bebechinas Chokhmah shaboy. That is in the level of Chokhmah of the Nefesh Elikis that the yid has. It's in the level of Chokhmah. Why dafke Chokhmah? Because machmas delays machshava tfiso bei klau. Because there is no thought that can grasp Hashem, so he cannot come down in the level of oisius, the level of machshava. But lochein eina yochel yislabish ela b'chinas chokhmah, and that's why it cannot dress up, but in the level of chokhmah. Chokhmah doesn't obscure. That's where the godliness is. Godliness comes down into chokhmah. The same thing by the nefesh elikis. It comes down. The nitzutz elikus comes down into chokhmah. K'mashikosu b'sefer shel beinonim perik yuchas. V'hinei isa be'etz chaim b'pri etz chaim shar yudzayim perik beis b'pirush Over there he explains the pasuk in Rus. It says that she went and she lied down next to him, next to Boaz. It says, "Vahi b'chatzi halayla," so it was at midnight. Vayecharad ha'ish, so the person started to tremble. Vayilofes, and v'hine isha shecheves margiloisov chulu, there was a woman laying by his feet. B'lochein vayecharad ha'ish, and that's why he was trembling. What is it explained in the Pri Etz Chaim? That Bahainu lefishenitchis rochel lemato, because isha shecheves margiloiso, by his feet, represents a descent. That represents the level of rochel, who is at the feet, because at that point Rochel was pushed down below. She's at the level of Margiloiso. And Leah, he dinimu gevuris. And Leah is the level of judgment and restrictions. So he was fearful, vayecharat. That's why he was fearful, because now he's left with dinim, with the level of Leah. That's why those who occupied themselves in Torah after Chatzos have been praised. Why? Because that's the point. After Chatzos, they're starting to raise up again the level of Rochel. That she shouldn't be Margiloisov, she shouldn't be down, like we said before, after Chatzos Laila, to start to bring it up again. Through learning Torah after Chatzos, you bring it down to Zov and Nukva, then you go down to the level of Rochel. L'sakno laliyas shachris, to get her fixed and corrected, so that for the morning she can go up the level of Rochel. Ukameshekosov b'zoyhar emer dav tzadik omed aleph, over there it says, "V'gam she'oznim tokim dinei Leah." Then this judgment of Leah are sweetened. So you have the Leah, that's considered the tvuna, the malchus, the tvuna, we said before, which is the level of gevura. That's the level of Leah. That's the bina, the level of tvuna, and the level of Rachel is malchus, zov and nukva, that you're mamshich through the Torah to the level of zov and nukva. And then is them talking also dinei Leah. Ayin bezoyer horakia parshas boy bedaf lamed zayin omid beis, v'ayin bepirush haramaz beparshas Amer. Shom yodua chula avaleikir chulu. That's quoting over there. Base. Ach, keitzad yagia lebechina zu. How can he reach this letter? Liyes al yidei oskei b'Torah hamshocha atzmiyus chochma ilah. How could he reach this level that when he occupies himself in Torah, to bring down the essence of the Chochmah Ilah? Hine lozeh tzorich lahamshich mibchinas yosher gavoya. To bring down the Chochmah Ilah, the essence of Chochmah Ilah, you have to go to a higher level, mibchinas Chochmah de Tzilus. To even a higher level of Chochmah Ilah de Tzilus, to bring it down. Ad shemachamosa yubshuchu moichin da'aba lamata lezo. To the extent that when you reach up through Torah to even going to a higher level, and that pushes down sort of, that's why you'll bring down the moichin of Abba to Zo, so then it'll be the Yichud Zov and Nukva properly. Say, for example, when a teacher needs to explain to his student some deep idea, so he has to have his own seichel on a much higher level. And also at the time that he gives the flow, he has to arouse the essence of his seichel at the time that he wants to give to the student. He has to wake up his essence seichel lihisyaetz, to consult eich lahashpia haseichel ha'omuk la'talmud shukoten harbe maharav chulut, how to give the flow of this deep idea to the student who is much smaller than the Rav himself. We also understand likewise in the example that in order there should be mamshich the chochmei law, supreme chochmah into the midas, tzorich liyes mekoide moker hamshocha milmayla ma'chochmah. So you have to go to the source of that hamshocha. It has to come from higher than chochmah. You can't go just to chochmah. You need to go higher than chochmah, so that will push chochmah down. This is the idea of I've collected the various different fragrances, the besomim, the moir with the besomim. The level of reyach is the level which is even higher than chochmah. That's what the pasuk says. Kihine hareyach hu mechoita. The smell is from the nose, by the nose. The tam and taste to bepevechech. That's in the mouth, in the gum. So you see, also by the person, the nose is on a higher place than is the mouth. So on the smell is on a higher step. The nose is more elevated. The pasuk in Yeshaya, it says that his my praise echtam loch is with the level of the smell, also brought down in the Gemara from but there's a higher level of being able to smell Hashem, so to speak, which is in a higher level. Gam on the royim. Also, we see bechush. We see also in vividly shahatamhu alidei leisa samaychel. How do you get the taste? You have to chew the food. Only when you chew it up, that's when the gum and the throat really taste it. So you have to chew it first. That's one thing. V'gam, another thing. Once you tasted it, it can no longer be used for food. It becomes disgusting. It's not worth for food anymore. You can't eat it anymore. This is as opposed to all this, the way it's by the smell. First of all, immediately the smell comes to him. You don't have to chew it up. You don't have to do anything. You get the smell right away. Also, you don't have to chew it up. Also, when it's whole. The item is not become gone. You don't lose it. The item stays. You can go back and smell many times. So the idea of this smell is a much higher level, as he shows that, first of all, you don't have to chew it up. You have it all the time. And it stays there the whole time. So likewise above, you have timim b'chokhmah. When we talk about timim, that's the trup. That is in the level of chokhmah. Gabei tanto. When we talk about timim nekudas tevius oisius, the very those are timim is the trup, or also mean the taste when you sing. It's the sound that's called the timim, the trup of the Torah. That's in the level of chokhmah. Shehi reishis atzilus. That's the beginning of atzilus. Ashenkin hareach hu l'mayla atzilus, as opposed to the smell is higher than atzilus. That's what we say chutma the atik. The chutma, that's the level of atik. From a shekosu beidra daf kuf lamed omid beis. Upirush. So what does it mean? The kamoy al derech moshul hareach hu b'chinas makif. Just by way of example, the reyach is a surrounding. It's not absorbed like food. Taste is inner. Chew it up, goes in the inside. That's why the smell is also a little bit eternal. It's nitzchi, it stays. Why it's not going to stop. It's not going to go away as the taste goes away. Once the gum tastes it, is no longer fit for food. Why? Because the taste is an inner, it's more limited, it's more restricted than the smell, so you can only use it once. So same thing is above. Shabatzilus hu yislapshus ha'oiris b'kelim. In Atzilus, the oiris dress up in kelim. Shag kelim magbilim ha'oir. Over there, the timing, the chokhmah, that is limited. That limits the kelim, limit the oir. Avo b'chinas atik hu l'mayla ma'kelim. But the level of atik is higher than the kelim. V'nikra ein sof l'gabe ha'atzilus kenoida. And that is with regards, that is higher. It's called ein sof relative atzilus because that's the level of reyach versus tam. Chokhmah atzilus, that's the level much higher. V'zo inyan lebala choytem ani mispalel, which is from the Idra Rabbah, from the Zoyar. He says lebala choytem ani mispalel, to the level of the smell. So that shows you also that that's the higher level. And in that commentary of the Sifra for a student of the Arizal, Perek Alda Chesam Dalaf Kosav, over there he writes, Ki avira shalbagabi kruma de mechafia al moitostimo, that the ear, which is on top of the membrane that covers a moitostimo, mamshich derech hachotem, you bring it through the chotem. That shows to you that this is the higher level. What comes down through the chotem, the level of the smell, is the avira, which is higher than the kruma that the membranes also, which is higher than even the mechustimo. The ayin, not sure what sefer this is. Biyud Dalet Siman Lamed Aleph Siv Gimel B'Shom Siftes Samachtes Tezvo B'Shem Shvilei Emuna. Not sure what the name is. Okay. Move on, so we understand. Al Yidei HaChotem. So since from this we understand that through the chotem, the reyach goes up even higher than mechastimo. because it's from the Avira Shal Gabi Kruma de Machafia Mechstimo, so it's even higher. Bezo Inyan Shaneshama Nenis Mimenu. This is the idea we say that the smell, the soul benefits from it. Api Mashekosov Beitzchai Shar Arichampin Soif Perik Zayin Shebe Avira Meir Hadas de Atik Yomen. That in this Avir shines the das of Atik Yomim, of Atik, Buhu, Neshama Arichampin, and that is the soul of Arichampin. So it turns out the Reyach, which is the Avira, which is the level, that's the level of Atik. Ba'im izeh bebiur de Parshas Tzitzis. Ba'im ashakosov me'inyan zeh the Reyach bedivra maschil eila masei be'inyan yardei nerechoi. בדברי המאסחיל, וישלח ישוע מן השיטים חולו.